Phil, Alfredton, obviously disappointing really because you had your chances, particularly in the first half.
Analysed the aftermath of the game, and it's a funny statistic these days in the game of football. Like everybody looks at possession stats. It's something that's sort of came into the game in the last 10 years, where you can get statistical analysis from everywhere. But everybody looks at this possession and really, does it count for anything? And I was doing a bit of work for the BBC last night in the Arsenal-Bolton game, and then on the Sunday watching the Man City Arsenal game, and I think Manchester City had something like 78% possession, and down to a 10-men Arsenal who had 22% but got something from the game. We probably had a 60-40 advantage over Alfredton. But the one moment in the game came their way and they stuck it in the back of the net, or shall we say Alex Penny stuck it in the back of the net, and we didn't put our chances away. And as a manager, I think all you can do is try and support players when they're in their moments, because them are the key moments in any game of football, where one-on-ones with a goalkeeper. Ash Emmons had a couple of real good chances where that was concerned. Missed the target on one occasion, goalkeeper pulls a save on the other occasion. Amari Morgan-Smith, a free header in the 6-yard box. All of these things are part and parcel of how we play, and I've just been talking to the players about it was Zach Brown's birthday, and he brought the cakes in today, and there were donuts. I know we shouldn't be eating donuts as athletes, top athletes as we say. I know us three are top athletes, that's for sure. But the icing on the cake is the goal, it's the finish, it's the piece of the jigsaw that makes the picture look good. And at the moment, our picture, 99% of it looks very good, and that 1%, that icing is just not quite there yet. We talked about it all week, we've discussed it all week, we've practiced finishing all week. If you make too big a point of it, it becomes more of a hindrance, to tell you the truth. But all of these things are part and parcel of managing a group of players, and the mentality of the group of players is the most important part. And that mentality, that psychology of going into a game on Saturday against a team that like to control the game, that like to have possession. It's nice to be able to come up against somebody like that, as opposed to maybe the style of football that we've been facing of late. But at the same time, whoever wins that possession battle on Saturday doesn't necessarily win the game, and that'll be the key factor to it all.
Do you read much into those stats you were talking about, possession stats? Frankly, who cares? The only stat that matters is the scoreline at the end of the day. And even worse than that, expected goals, which is crept in somewhere. No, it's not expected goals, it's goals that count, surely.
You sound like me. About 5 years ago, Trev, I was into certain things where statistical analysis was concerned. And possession wasn't a big one. Getting the ball into key areas, and then obviously getting sufficient players and the mentality of getting a group on the front foot with regards to the penalty box, etc, etc. Again, going back to Big Sam, the most important part is the 2 6-yard boxes, let alone the 2 penalty boxes, the 2 6-yard boxes. And it's so right that when you do overcrowd them 6-yard boxes, as a lot of teams do with corners and set pieces, something will happen, something spills. But even in open play, when you get sufficient players forward and commit to the attack, you expect to score goals. And there's that word, expect to score goals, XG. And I've analysed it over the last, year or two. And it's grown on me. I hope it'll grow on you, because it's grown on me. And the reason why it's grown on me is because your XG over the period of the season will level itself out. So we are at the moment XG second in the division. That's a little bit of music to my ears, because we're not second in the division, we're lower than that. But if we carry on doing the things we're doing and creating the things that we're creating and eventually putting the icing on the cake, it will eventually turn in our favour.
Yeah, you prefer to be G's second in the division rather than XG's, presumably.
I was expecting something like XXTB, and that's expecting to play badly. Listen, it's sports science. It's without, being frivolous about it, being serious about it. I think Sports science have been responsible for creating a wonderful part of a big jigsaw, a big business with regards to the world of football. And there's a place for it, you know, where managers are concerned. I think there's a lot of managers have go-to numbers, shall we say, whether that be the physical output of a player, whether that be the capabilities of the passing of your team, whether that be just the goals that you do score, or the chances that you do create. And bottom line is we are a nation of numbers. We love numbers, you know. As soon as you finish the game on a Saturday, you're looking for your national lottery and things like that. But we are guided in life in general by mathematics, and it's been a big part of my life and always will be a big part of my life. But yeah, absolutely spot on. The only thing that matters really is that scoreline at the end.
Just looking at the form in general, obviously home form until last Saturday has been very solid here. Your away form, I think we touched on last week, needs looking at.
Yeah.
Is it a bit of a concern now? You started so well and you've dropped off a little bit?
No, I always make reference to reasons as opposed to excuses. You know, I have many a meeting with my backroom staff to talk about reasons and what they influence. You know, like whether it be sports science, whether it be, you know, the psychology of the game, whether it be the physiological side of the game. And I think the main key factor where a player is concerned, and I was asked this question last night, if you go into a game of football and you've had your two number one and number two centre halves removed through injury in one game, and then repeatedly your best striker, and then a striker comes on loan, so your 1 and 2 strikers get bumps on the head, shall we call them, and you're 4 players down. Invariably, the spine of a team, everyone talks about the midfield, the backbone of your team, the centre halves, the midfield, and the strikers. You're losing 4 players from that backbone. I think any team in this division, or any division in itself, would struggle. So that's the reason behind it. No excuses. Probably more than anybody, with the experience I've got where management's concerned, I know the numbers eventually get you, you know, and I understand that fully. Yeah, we've got to start winning games of football. It becomes as simple as that. And if it starts on Saturday in the Cup, and we carry that into the league, because I think players at this level and most levels, you know, the confidence of what a win can do for you, what a cup run can do for you, what a league table can do for you, and where you stand in that league table. So it is all based on confidence. But hopefully on Saturday we'll put a strong enough team out against Buxton to first and foremost compete for the ball and the possession of the ball. But then when the chances come along, hopefully, you know, we've got a new lad on loan from Bradford City, and we've been given permission for Harry to play. So when them chances come along, hopefully he'll be in the right place at the right time.
And that's a bonus, isn't it, really? Because sometimes loan players, obviously parent clubs don't want them to play in the FA Cup.
Yeah, very much, and I thank Graham Alexander. You know, I signed Greza as I'm going to do Greza a disservice here. He would have been touching 40, he might have been 38, but he was close to coming to the end of his career, and I signed him from Burnley to Preston North End at the end of his career, and he eventually took over from me as the manager. Great experience as a player, played at the highest level, and now is in management, and had a good conversation with him about Harry Ibbotson and his strengths and weaknesses. But he's allowing him to play in the cup competition, which I think will be a benefit for Bradford City long term. But you know, this season itself, what we can do for Bradford City is give him minutes on the field of play starting on Sunday.
How do you see the size of the challenge facing on Saturday?
It's a great challenge, you know, because it's not about probably the FA Cup game. It's more important the 2 games in the league, and you put markers down, and we'll be facing them guaranteed for three times this season. So hopefully we'll put a good enough marker down that they'll understand what we're all about. We know what they're all about, or at least we think we do. If they play around with their system, if they play around with their team selection, we'll have a look at them strong, weak, whichever the case may be. But when it comes to the league games, and I imagine both sides, both managers will be trying to boast a fully strength team, at full strength, shall I say. And in the cup game, there might be 1 or 2 changes, which we're thinking about doing as well.
In terms of the players you have available, is the picture looking any brighter?
Yeah, it's looking fairly strong. You know, there's only Paul Downing really from the team that had a good pre-season under the belt. There's only Paul Downing suffering Obviously, Ben Beresford still hasn't recovered from the hamstring injury, but he had strength tests at Derby County at Birmingham last week, and he came through them strength tests fairly, with flying colours. So hopefully in the next couple of weeks we'll start seeing him on the training ground and hopefully back in the team. But again, everybody suffers from injuries somewhere down the line. I'm thinking we're going through our worst patch, and hopefully that is the case. When we get everybody back to full fitness and full strength, then we can give anybody a game of football, that is for sure.
A final point, you alluded to it already, really, that obviously a decent run in the Cup, that can bounce on into your league form as well. You get through this round, it's fourth round qualifying next, you're only one off the first round proper then, and suddenly the prospect of some decent size in the bottom two divisions in the Football League.
Yeah, very much so. I'm glad you made that point, Trev, because I haven't got a clue where the FA Cup's concerned. That's not being disrespectful, I've not started at this level. So we get past this one, we've got another one to get into the first round proper, and as you've made reference to, even first division, second division, you've got some massive clubs in there. So I'm with the chairman this afternoon. Hopefully I can re-emphasise the fact that we do want to win on Saturday, no doubt about it. We'll be putting a strong enough team out to try and win the game of football and progress, because as you well know, winning games of football will breed confidence, and hopefully a run in the cup won't do us any harm whatsoever, the size of squad we've got.